Hello everyone, I Dr. Sanjeev Yadav, Assistant Professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Government Women Engineering College. Again, welcome you all in the second part of the television receiver. In the last section, we have discussed about the antenna system, tuner section, common video and sound IF amplifiers and automatic gain control unit, and the video detector. In this section, we'll discuss about the sound IF amplifier detector and audio amplifier, video amplifier, synchronous pulse separator, vertical deflection section, horizontal deflection section, high voltage power supply, and low voltage power supply. Now we come towards the sound IF amplifier detector and audio amplifier. In this block diagram of the TV receiver, this is the part of the sound IF amplifier, FM sound detector, audio amplifiers, and the speaker. We are going to discuss in detail. The FM sound signal is amplified in the 4.5 megahertz sound IF amplifier, as we have seen on the last figure, and then fed into a FM detector. The response curve of an FM detector is shown here. We have seen that the response curve is like this one. In some receivers, the FM discriminator is used as FM detector. This circuit requires an additional stage, a limiter, to provide adequate noise reduction. Because of this, many receivers use a radio detector or other single stage detector. After detection, the sound signals are amplified to a level suitable for driving a loudspeaker. Now we come towards the video amplifier. Here in the figure we can see that this is the part of the video amplifier. As in the figure we have seen that detector picture signal is fed into a video amplifier. That the detector from here the signal is fed into the amplifier. The polarity of the signal can be positive or negative depending on the particular type of picture detector is used. This polarity is important because the number of signals inversions during amplification determine which element of the picture tube is to be amplified. Signal is applied. Negative video output signal are connected to the picture tube control grid and the positive signal to the cathode. As we can see that this is from up to cathode. Thus, a positive signal from detector which is inverted one time in a single stage video amplifier is applied as a negative signal to the picture tube control grid. This signal can be made positive and then applied to the cathode by adding a second video amplifier. The most of the monochrome vacuum tube TV receivers have a single stage video amplifier only. The solid state monochrome receivers usually have two video amplifier stages. The basic function of these amplifiers is to provide sufficient drive signals to the picture tube. The signal must be capable of driving the tube from the darkest black to the brightest white. This will make it possible to reproduce all the picture signals in a proper shades. The signal at this point is of course a composite video signal consisting of the picture information, blanking and synchronized pulses. These blanking pulses extinguish all retrace lines. The synchronized pulses are not used at this point. The typical value of peak to peak video signal applied to the picture tube is approximately 100 volt, and the bandwidth of the amplifier which may vary from 2.5 megahertz to about 3.25 megahertz. Now we come towards the synchronous pulse separator. Now we come to the block diagram. In the block diagram, synchronous pulse separator is here. You can see that. And it is getting the signal from the video amplifier. It is getting the composite video signals, and that has been separated towards the vertical as well as horizontal. The synchronous pulse separator removes the synchronization pulses from detected video signal. It amplifies them to the proper level and then feeds them to the vertical and horizontal deflection sections. After that, we come towards the vertical deflection section, which consists of integrator, oscillator, and amplifier. This is the complete vertical integrator, vertical deflection oscillator vertical deflection amplifier. Vertical deflection system. Here these pulses keep the vertical and horizontal oscillator synchronized or in step with the figure, shows that the amplified signal pulses are coupled through an integrator to the vertical oscillator. This integrator filters the shape of the pulses so that only the vertical pulses affect the vertical oscillators. The vertical output amplifier is a power amplifier which drives the vertical windings of the deflection yoke mounted in the neck of the picture tube. These vertical drives moves the electron beam in the picture tube from top of the screen to the bottom of the screen at 50 Hz rate. After each exertion, means after each sweep of the beam is moved rapidly or retraced to top of the screen to start next downward sweep. During the retrace interval, the vertical blanking pulses blanks out the picture tube screen until the scanning beam is in the proper position to begin the next downward step. Each exertion in the screen develops one field. Two successive fields makes one complete frame, that is one complete picture which we see in the receiver screen. Now horizontal deflection section. It consists of automatic frequency control, oscillator and control. This is the part. Horizontal deflection oscillator, horizontal deflection amplifier and AFC circuit. Horizontal deflection section. Here the output of the sync separator is also applied to the horizontal. This the is applied to the horizontal. The function of this section is similar as the vertical deflection. Only the difference is there the electron beam is moved from left to right. In the vertical it was moving from top to bottom and here it is moving to the left to right. Here to produce the sufficient number of horizontal scanning lines for each complete field, the horizontal oscillator is maintained at 15 to 750 MHz by the automatic frequency control unit circuit. The circuit prevents noise or other interference pulses from triggering the horizontal oscillator and keep the horizontal oscillator logged in with the scanning beam in the TV camera. Similar in the vertical deflection oscillator, the horizontal oscillator generates modified sawtooth waveform that is coupled to the horizontal output amplifier. This power amplifier increases the level of horizontal sawtooth wave and shapes is properly for driving the horizontal windings of the deflection yoke on the neck of the picture tube. During the retrace interval, horizontal blanking pulse blanks out the screen until the scanning beam of the proper position begin the next one. Everything is here same, just difference in the vertical and horizontal is there that is moving from the top to bottom, here left to right, nothing else. Now we come toward the high voltage power supply. In the figure that this part is the high voltage power supply which is coming from the horizontal deflection amplifier and going towards the picture tube. This is also known as extra high tension supply or high voltage supply. The high voltage rectifier obtained its AC input from the horizontal amplifier. This arrangement is called flyback supply because the high voltage is generated as the induced voltage during the first horizontal retrace. The resultant voltage is tapped by the horizontal output transformer for the required amount of high voltage. The rectified output is the DC voltage needed by the picture tube to produce the brightness on the phosphor screen of the picture tube. Because the anode voltage depends on the horizontal output with a flyback circuit, there cannot be any brightness on the picture tube if the horizontal scanning circuit are not operating. The EHT source is shown in the figure as we can see that from the horizontal oscillator the signals are coming and they are going towards the horizontal deflection amplifier and then it is going towards the winding and the high voltage rectifier. As we can see during retrace intervals of the horizontal scanning, high voltage pulses of amplitude 6 to 9 kilovolt are developed across the primary winding of the horizontal output transformer. Here, these are stored by an auto transformer windings to about 10 to 15 kV and then fed to a high voltage rectifier. Now here they are fed. The output of the rectifier is filtered to provide DC voltage that is going towards the fixture tube. Now the last part, that is the low voltage power supply. Again, this is the low voltage power supply part. Here the input is the AC input that is converted to the DC voltages to all of the stages which are being used in the that block diagram. The low voltage power supply source in figure provides the necessary voltage to all the circuits of the receiver. From vacuum tube receivers, the low voltage supply also provides the power to heat the tube filament. It ranges from 120 to 300 volt DC. It is common. Regulation is seldom used in monochrome tube receivers but may use in solid state division. These power supplies use multiple winding transformers and a full wave rectifier with filters. Some manufacturers also use a simple AC power supply without a transformer. This was your solid state receiver. Need filament power only for the picture tube. For solid state receivers, the range varies from 10 to 100 volt. And here it was for the tube, it was from 125 volt to 300 volt. Here the batteries provide the power supply for portable TV receivers. The DC voltage available from the low voltage power supply depends upon the whether supply used for a vacuum tube or a solid state TV receiver. That depends where we want to use. This was your complete the TV receiver. This was the block diagram. Here we have learned what is television receiver and the complete block diagram and of the monochrome television receiver. Thank you. For any query, you can contact me.